EXselling is an advanced form of value-added selling. It's used to help buyers sell themselves because today most buyers are better at buying than salespeople are at selling, and many of them are actually better at selling than salespeople are. Value-added selling is built on the premise that price is never the real reason why the customer said no, and it helps us overcome or eliminate the price objection. It's been difficult to take value-added selling into the retail environment, and that's because retailers now are forced to sell on price. Unless you're a luxury brand on one end of the scale or the cheapest discount on the other end of the scale, there doesn't seem to be a lot of room in the middle. But what if you're an excellent organization? You're a very good company. Your store carries quality merchandise, but the buyers that are coming in are saying, well, we can get the same thing for less somewhere else. How do you handle that? Artificial intelligence can help us with cost justification, with the feature benefit analysis, and with a lot of different areas of retail sales that we've never really had help on before. In this video, we're going to look at how artificial intelligence can help you develop better greetings for when the customer shows up at your door. You see, in B2B sales, business-to-business sales, that's proactive selling. The seller finds out who they want to sell to, and they proact. But in retail, you don't really have a choice of who the buyer's going to be. It's whoever shows up at your door. Let's see what AI can do to help us develop better opening questions. Can value-added selling be used at the retail level, and more importantly, can artificial intelligence be used there as well? In this video, we're going to look at how that can happen. The typical scenario in a retail store, let's say a customer goes into a sporting goods store and goes straight to the fishing gear section. The salesperson comes over and asks a question, which is what? May I help you? And what does the typical customer say? No thanks, just looking. Is that a true statement? How do we know people are just looking? They're at the zoo, the aquarium, or the museum. That's where people go to just look. If they're in a retail store, there is something they would like to have. There's something on their mind. May I help you? No thanks, just looking is called a cause and effect or a stimulus and response situation. If I don't like the response that I'm getting, I can change the stimulus. So let's look at how artificial intelligence could help develop better opening questions. Here are the rules for an opening question. First of all, it cannot mention the product or service that you are selling. Number 2, it cannot mention your company or your store. And number 3, it cannot mention you. It doesn't matter how excited you are about a new product or service, and it doesn't matter how much you appreciate your company and how good your company is, and it doesn't matter how many customers you've helped in the past. The opening question cannot have anything to do with your product or service, your company or yourself, your store. What's left to talk about? Them. What is everybody's favorite topic? Themselves. Now here's where it gets to be interesting. Your opening question must be something about the customer they have never heard before. You're differentiating yourself from the onset. Well, how can we do that? Let's look a little closer at what we call B2B and B2C selling. B2C is business to consumer, and that's where retail is, and B2B is business to business, which is typically more sophisticated. But the same principles can apply to both. In a B2C environment, usually the buyer initiates the contact. That is, a customer comes into the store. In a B2B environment, the salesperson usually has to go out and initiate the contact with the buyer. We look at B2C as reactive selling and B2B as proactive selling. In B2C, the salesperson is reacting to someone who came into their environment, whereas in B2B, typically the seller is already geared up for the sale. In B2C, we can do pre-call training, whereas in B2B, we do pre-call planning. In a consumer environment, in a store, in a retail outlet, you typically can't prepare for the individual customer that's going to come in because you don't know who they are in most cases. But in a B2B environment, typically the seller, the salesperson, knows who they're going to be talking to, what they're going to be talking about, and they can pre-plan. The B2C begins with the opening question, whereas in B2B we begin with a greeting question and then go to the opening question. There's no time for a greeting question typically in a retail environment. In the retail environment, we do a basic needs analysis, whereas in a B2B environment, we're going to do an advanced needs analysis. It'll be qualified and quantified to develop a qualified and quantified feature-benefit analysis and possibly a cost justification. In B2C, there are frequent sales closures. You can actually make the sale if you'll ask for it. Will this be cash or charge? What else would you like to go with this? Whereas in B2B, we typically are only advancing the sale to the next level. Well, AI can help. Go to an AI engine, you can pick any of them, and give them instructions sort of like this. Write 10 interesting or humorous questions a salesperson can ask when greeting customers. And in this case, I was specific, in a bait and tackle shop. Questions that do not mention fishing gear. And when I put that information in, the AI engine came back immediately and began giving me these 10 questions. So when you look over these, what you can see is they will stimulate your creativity. You can pause the video and read these if you like. But all this is doing is giving you some ideas for a question that you can develop. In artificial intelligence, AI can help you develop new opening questions, but do not use the questions that AI is giving you necessarily. Develop your own. Use them frequently. Make the question yours, so it's your personality and your delivery. And remember to teach others.